Okay. Just so we can make sure we get this done in about 20 minutes, I'll go ahead and get started. So you should have this worksheet. Um, and I passed out yesterday to you guys, and you want to have your graphing calculators. And we're going to start with how do we even enter these matrices onto our calculators? So there happens to be a button underneath of math there that has the matrix on it. So we're going to press second, and it's located right here, matrix. And on the screen, you should see where it says names. Oh, I'm black. Let me move that over. So it says names, math, and edit. So that, again, that's located on just second. And it's a little inverse button is what that is. We'll learn about that button. But it says matrix. Oops, let me get more people in here. Hi, Emmett. So the first thing we do is we press that. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to edit a matrix. So you're going to press edit at the top or arrow. Oh, sorry, you can't press it. You're going to edit or arrow over to edit. Hey, Emmett. All right. So just so everybody, I'm going to recap that one more time and then we'll get moving. You're going to press second and then it says X to the -1, but that's the matrix button. And then you're going to arrow over to edit. When you go to edit, you can press on or just select one A, B, C, D. If you want to keep them the same names, like on this worksheet, if you want to keep them the same names, which I would recommend so you don't get confused, let's go ahead and enter the matrix A that's on this worksheet. So I'm going to enter that matrix A right there. So press enter on that matrix and you have to decide how big the matrix is. So at the top here, you have to be able to enter. I don't know if it's entering or arrowing on the real calculators, but this is a 2 row by 3 column. Now, if I made it 3 by 3, okay, if I make it a 3 by 3, then I get extra spaces. You're going to see if it's wrong right away. You'll know if it's right or if it's wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and make that a 2 by 3. And then the next thing you want to do is just enter these into the little positions, each element. So I'll go 3, enter, -6, enter, 9, enter, and it should jump to the next row for you. So 0, 12, and 15. I'll make sure you press enter on that last 15 so that you have it all there. Now, the next thing I might want to do is go back into second matrix, and I want to go over to edit again, and I'm going to edit matrix B. So I'll go down to matrix B. And I'm going to enter in this one a 3 by 3 matrix. So you have to change the size of the matrix by going 3, enter, 3, enter, and you get a 3 by 3 matrix. So I'm going to again type across the rows, -3, enter, 9, enter, 2, enter, 10, enter, -5, enter, 4, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, and don't forget to press enter on the last one. I'm going to pause. Does anybody have a question on just getting the matrix into that spot? Okay, I will just allow you to ask questions as they come up then. Please feel free to unmute yourself at any time. Okay, so now I've got at least two, I got these 2 matrices. So why don't you take a moment and enter matrix C and D into your the edit part. So once again, you're going to press second and that little inverse button. And so you can already see that I have matrix A and B on mine. I don't remember how it actually shows up on the real TI, if you actually can see anything in there. It might just give you dimensions. But arrow over to edit and then press, go down to C or number 3. And then again, you have to tell it how many rows and how many columns. This is 2 rows with 3 columns. And it presents to you how many spaces you're going to fill in. So I'll do -5, 1, enter, 4, enter, 11, enter, 7, enter, and -3. Always double check that you typed it right. You certainly don't want to type it incorrectly because then all your work to follow will be incorrect. All right. And then lastly, I'm going to do second matrix one more time. I'm going to arrow over to edit and press down to number 4, which is another 2 by 3. Okay. Obviously, we needed a couple 2 by 3s if we're going to add anything together. So 17, enter, -8, enter, -5, enter 2, enter 1, enter 3, enter. Okay, so I've got all of them in. You'll get really quick at them while everybody's coming on in. Let's get everybody in. Okay. That doorbell. Man, I don't miss that doorbell. All right. So at this point, for anybody who's just getting in, if you didn't hear, these are the buttons we've pressed so far. That little -1 guy is over underneath of the math button. And I've just entered all of my calculators using the edit part of the matrix menu. The next thing I want to do is go to my home screen. It's really important. You must go to the home screen in order to do operations. So I'm going to go to my mode screen my home screen by pressing second mode, which clears me out to the home screen. If you have anything on your home screen, you might just want to clear it so you got a nice clean home screen. So the next thing to be able to do the operations as it describes here is going to be that you want to call them to the home screen. In order to call the matrices to the home screen, you're just going to press second matrix again, except you're going to use the names. You're going to use the names one. So so if I want to do A plus C, which I don't know if that's one of my operations here, 2C plus A. So we'll just do 2C plus A on our home screen. So I'm going to go back home. So here it is. I'm going to press 2. Okay, so I'm back on the home screen. I press 2. Second matrix, and I want number 3. So I have 2C plus A. So I'm going to go back in second matrix, and I call A to the home screen. So I literally have on my home screen 2C plus A. Now you may not have the brackets around yours. I don't recall. It just might be capital letters. But there you go. And if I press enter, it presents to me the answer. So there is the answer to number 1 on that worksheet. 2C plus A. Go to the home screen and call the operations. You can do everything from here. So in fact, let's go ahead and do 10B. So if I type in 10 and then I press second matrix and I want B, so I can go ahead and press number 2 and it comes forward. Okay. And then I press enter and it multiplies everything. Now, did we need a calculator to multiply everything inside of matrix B by 10? No, but I'm hoping you're learning what we can do with the calculator features. And one of those things is scalars. So we can do our adding, and we can do our scalar multiplication, subtraction, all sorts of things. So take a moment. I'm not gonna give you necessarily time to do all of this while I'm with you here because I only wanted to talk for about 9 more minutes. But give some of these operations a try on your screen. I minimize the answers over there. But there's one more thing I wanted to show you. So take a moment if you've already got those matrices entered and maybe try like 3 and 4, just so you know how to call them to the home screen. At this point, if anybody missed something, you want to ask a question, just unmute yourself and shout it out to me. Or you can type in the chat.
How do you get a matrix in the first place?
How do you get a matrix in the first place? So you want to get the matrix, like enter it into the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to press second and then this -1 button. I don't know how to point to it for you. It's underneath of math. So now I've already entered mine, but if I was going to enter matrix E, for example, I would go over to edit and I would select number 5 for E. And then you have to decide how many rows and columns you want. So if I want like a 3 by 2, then I would enter 3, enter 2, enter. And then you're going to be able to type all of your elements within there. So whatever your matrix elements are. Okay, so that's how you get them into the calculator. So now your calculator knows what your matrices are, and it has these 5 matrices defined. I didn't really put anything in for E, so it's all zeros. Once you do that, if you want to actually have the operations happen on your home screen, you want to get out of there. So second mode gets you back to the home screen. And then to call them to the home screen, you're going to go back in, except you're not going to use the edit column. You're going to use the names. So if I want to do A, I would press 1 for A, and it brings it to the home screen. And maybe I want to do minus D. So I press minus, and then I go second matrix, and I can get D on my home screen. As soon as I do that, I can press enter. Okay, and I get an answer. Now I'm going to go real quick here, but I want you to see what happens if I try to add A plus B. Now look at this. A plus B cannot happen. A plus B can't happen. Those dimensions don't work. So I'm going to show you what happens on this calculator screen because we might end up with some errors and we need to know what they mean. So A plus B, and I enter it and it says, now yours might say mismatch, or dimension dim, D-I-M mismatch or something. But what that means is my dimensions don't match. I can't do this. This operation is not possible. And that will also occur with multiplication when we know we can't multiply matrices as well. Okay, any other questions right now? Okay, so before we move on, so I want everybody to kind of pause for a second because like I said, I'm going to keep this short here. Before we move on, the next thing I want you guys to do is I want you to type in like 1/3, and I want us to distribute a 1/3 onto matrix C. I want us to see what that's going to look like when I'm multiplying by something that those elements are not divisible by evenly. So let me go ahead and do 1/3, and I'm going to call matrix C to the screen. So number 3, and I press enter. And I get like, obviously I'm going to get repeating decimals. You can also math enter this, which turns it into a fraction. So if you press math, and then now you get that fraction, right? Enter, it'll turn it into fractions for you. So you can always like clarify and make it look a little cleaner to write down your outcomes, if you need to. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So then I've got those entered. We've done kind of the operations. When you get to page 2 here, you do get into multiplication. So this is multiplication here. And you can see what happens when you multiply them. But you don't even need a multiplication symbol. You can literally just put like the 2 of them next to each other. Just call them to the home screen right next to each other. If you put multiply in between, it works. It's just fine. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about today, because we're going to do inverses, this idea of inverses, and does it have an inverse? We're going to do those tomorrow in class together. But determinants. This can do determinants. Now, determinants only work on square matrices. I'm sorry. So they only work on square matrices. And so you can use this A that's already here, or we can use B because B was a square matrix from before. But I just want you to see how you can get that operation on your calculator. So since I already have B loaded into my calculator, I'm not going to retype A. I'm just going to go ahead and show you where that is. So second matrix, this is how you get a determinant. Let's see if I can scroll over here. So second matrix, or second X inverse, which is the matrix. And it's under the math button. And there it is. It says DET. It's literally all you have to do. So I call that to the home screen and it says, well, which matrix do you want to determine it of? And you say, well, the only one that's square, I guess, right? So I go second matrix and I call using the names column. Names just means you're like, hey, come here. I want to use this matrix. So I need to use B because it's the only 3x3 I've got. So I'm saying the determinant of B. And in this case, the determinant of B is negative 115. Now that's not the one I want for this answer because this is supposed to be using this matrix. But that is as simple as it is determinant is under the math button. Like, what do you want to do with these matrices? And we'll talk about some of these other features later on within the next couple days. So, and again, inverses, we'll talk about what that means, how to use them, and so on. Now, how do you clear a matrix? You can go back to edit, and if you wanted to like change matrix A, you can just go right up and type on top of this that you want this now to be a 3x3. And or if you wanted it to be a 1x1, you'll get it down to like like a really small matrix right here. And then you could put a 0 in it. Like you have to kind of type on top of them. Otherwise, you actually go back into your memory and clear them out. So you can't just delete them. It doesn't work as simple as that. But you can just type right over it. But just be really careful that you've typed in the correct new matrix. All right, so we're just about at the end here. That's as far as I really wanted you to go with the calculator. So it would be in your best interest to make sure that you can do everything up to number 9 with the calculator. So we already did a couple of those. And then I want you to skip this inverse stuff right here. Skip all that. Don't worry about number 16. And then I do want you to try number 17, 18, 19. And I think there's a couple on the next page that should not bother you. I don't think I have it in I don't have the actual paper copy in here. So give those a try because you are responsible for knowing how to do these little equations. Any questions before I let you guys go here in a minute or two?
Is it only this worksheet that's homework?
Say it again, Zoe.
Is it only this worksheet that's homework?
Yeah, but definitely skip that inverse part. So you definitely don't have to do anything between 10 and 16 because we're going to talk about that. But please try to finish everything else, but definitely skip 10 through 16 because that is something we have not yet talked about. But I'm not adding any Delta math or anything like that. You have one from yesterday, probably that some of you may not have finished. Anything else? Okay, we'll help each other out here with the matrix buttons. And then if there's still something you guys can't figure out together, we can work on that tomorrow when I see you. Thanks for joining me for 20 minutes. I will post this in a little bit on Schoology in case somebody missed it. You guys have an awesome day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.